basement is dry, Joe. It's dry, hollow. The echo is here. But it is dry, and we are here on a Sunday night. Thank you all for being so patient. A lot of people were terribly upset with us because they're not getting the show for their money, basically, right, Joe?
Yeah, I just want to put a little asterisk and say your parents' basement is dry. Yes, you are correct.
Right, but I am digging a hole to get out of here. I don't know if y'all can see that. That right there is a hole.
Nice.
You know what? How about this? It's 2024, people. We have the modern technology capabilities to take you around. And as you can see, hello? Is anybody there?
Dude, what if something comes out? What if Jet just crawls out of there?
Anyways, so yeah, it was not fun dealing with that last week. I apologize again for what happened, but here we are today. We have a fantastic show. We have an awesome guest, Thomás Wortley, aka Dr. Guion, not only an amazing community member, but also a talented writer himself. As we talked about, obviously you saw the episode with Thomás months ago. So this is his second appearance on the canon.
I'm pretty sure it was over. It had to be over a year ago.
He will tell us.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't want to fight with you right now, but we got a lot of fun people in the chat. Please like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Joe, I know you had a busy week as well, especially culminating into today. But before we get into that, we always forget to do this. The featured issue of the week is the featured episode issue is X-Men 193. Joe, I didn't get a chance to talk to you about this. I thought it was perfect for that. First appearance of Firestar in the 616. She was originally introduced in the 1981 animated series Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, and later transitioned to the comics, starting with this issue right here, X-Men 193. So I like how that corresponds nicely, don't you?
Yeah, I love that book. I grew up. I wasn't alive, obviously, when the show was coming out, but I had it on VHS. I had episodes on VHS, and man, I watched so much of that. And then even like reflecting on that back as a show, they were just like, as an adult, thinking about that show being like, so they just took Spider-Man and they gave him like two
random friends.
They gave him a much lesser popular character and then also a brand new character as roommates.
Yeah.
And that's the situation here. All right. Sounds like a great show. I'm in.
I'll be honest. I loved that show as a kid. I love that show. It was an hour. Yeah. For me, it was the Power Hour with, Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends. And then they had a Hulk show as well. And I was just, you couldn't, obviously you had Smurfs and Snorkels and all that stuff, but give me my Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends. Anyways, I'm sorry. Look, this is going too long here, and I apologize. We need to bring in, because, the show has started, and what do we do at the top of the show, Joe?
We do the news.
We do the news, so please welcome our news editor, Joshua, a.k.a. Josh's Comics 01, to the stage. Joshua, how was your Sunday been, Josh?
It was a long day of partying very hard. I can tell you that right now. I was partying. Joe was partying hard. I even have a video to prove just how hard Joe was partying, and he may not even have been wearing pants. So take it away, Jeff.
That's really good. That looks like a party for sure. I can't believe that type of music was playing at the Philadelphia Comic-Con, but looks like it was absolutely a good time.
I must be running on fumes at this point, and probably was then too, because I did not get a lot of sleep last night, and I got up early to get to the con.
Listen, all that matters is you're on the canon, because that is the most important thing each and every week for you. And the most important thing for Josh's Comics 01 is reporting the news. So why don't we just get into not as big a news week as we had previously with our previous episode with the Comic-Con recaps, San Diego Comic-Con recaps. But this weekend was D23, so we got some things to talk about, Joshua. Let's go.
Yeah, it was actually just a little bit disappointing. I think Marvel's in a course correction because they didn't announce a lot of what I thought, which were future projects. It sounds like they're going to focus, before we get in the news, they're going to focus more on up and coming projects that have already been announced that we're going to be seeing in the next year or so, and they're not going to worry about big announcements 3, 4, 5 years out of the gate anymore. So let's talk about some D23 news. Probably my most favorite announcement, and that was Daredevil Born Again. A trailer dropped. It was a leaked trailer that was only shown for the members in attendance, but of course people were filming with their phones. I have to say that I watched the trailer multiple times now. I love it. It is literally a continuation and going to be pretty much Daredevil season 4, but it is phenomenal looking. We also got the first look at Muse as well. That's definitely him right there, and comic accurate, in my opinion, and I can't wait to see him show up. And we also got confirmation that this season will drop in March sometime next year, and that season 2, technically season 5, is filming soon.
Ooh, that's very exciting. All of us who, again, just loved the representation they had on Netflix. This is very happy to hear that those ties are going to continue, whether it be a different universe, what have you. All of these people that help make that show, well, all the on-screen people, I'm not sure how many behind-the-scenes people in terms of producers and writers, etc., are a part of that. But I do trust in what Disney's going to do, because remember, they started shooting, and all of a sudden they're like, whoa, this is just not working. Let's throw all this out, start over again. Love that they brought Foggy Nelson back and Karen Page, and I think Bullseye's coming back. I can't remember what that guy's name is, but he's coming back.
He'll be back. John Bernthal.
John Bernthal. I forgot that.
He's in the trailer. He's confirmed back. And originally what happened was Marvel wanted to do their own Daredevil, bring him in a different way. There was a lot of backlash by the fans who wanted the continuation from season 3, and that's why they ended up scraping the show. Most of it after shooting, they heard a lot of the backlash, and they decided it would probably be better just to incorporate the Netflix shows, because if you think about it, Netflix did have hints and drops of the MCU in there. So it's already kind of been established that Daredevil was pretty much in the background, smaller street character, but I'm really excited, and they, like you guys said, most of the main cast is back with some new cast. For people behind the roles, producers, writers, I'm not exactly sure of, but it's going to be a continuation of the Netflix show and Marvel's own little spin on it.
I think we're in good hands because of the love we've all had, because, again, Kevin Feige's a fan first and foremost, and I think he has a really good. I say he hits upon things 80% of the time. Now, Joe, you got to give us some comments here. You haven't said anything.
Yeah, I've just been listening to you guys nerd out about it, but I've said this before. I truly think that the Daredevil television show, all 3 seasons, are the best live action thing that Marvel's done, and that is including the going back to Blade and Tobey Maguire, the original X-Men movie. I love a lot of those things, and then also including the MCU. I think the Daredevil show is top tier for me. I rewatch it regularly, and I'm super excited for this. It seems like they're doing it well. They're doing the Netflix show justice, even with the Disney backing. A lot of people thought it was going to be more of a PG-13 kind of thing.
Well, we just saw Deadpool and Wolverine, right?
Exactly.
So
I think that Disney realized that the rated R stuff, it gets butts in the seats, it gets people interested, it gets the comic fans. Look at the people on here. We've got Josh, you're the youngest. What, you're 30 now?
Yes, sir.
Jeff just turned 68 years old recently.
True.
So
still living in his mom's basement.
True.
It's sad, but we're not going to go there. But what I'm saying is, a lot of the people that are really interested in this comic book content are 30s, 40s, 50s, and we don't want PG stuff. It's great to be able to take kids to some movies and Iron Man, Captain America, Spider-Man. That's all perfect for that. But let's be real. We don't want PG-13 Punisher. We want our Punisher.
No,
We want
yeah,
our Daredevil.
absolutely, 100%. All right, we're gonna move on to the next story, but before we do, I just want to remind everybody, Dr. Guion, aka Thomás Wortley, will be on the show later today, and talking about his new project, Bloodshot. But since the reason I'm bringing this up is because he said he needed a 10-hour loop of that dance. And also, Alexia hasn't seen it yet, so I think we're going to just need to play it one more time. Josh, you object.
Let's party hard like it's...
Yeah,
I was just saying, let's party hard like 19... Yeah, when were we born? 1980? 1990? All right, hey, Jeff, let's party like 1990.
Fantastic. As long as you move on to the next news piece, we'll do that.
All right, so moving on. This is a really cool one and something I wasn't expecting to see for at least a couple more months into another trailer. But the first front shot of Red Hawk has been shown, and he represents the hairy chest people. And, you know, you can clearly see it's Harrison Ford CGI'd, you know, onto the body. He looks like a red, angry Indiana Jones. I mean, you know, like, let's just be real. I mean, he's got the chest open and stuff, the chest hair and stuff. But yeah, I mean, it looks good. I've got to make a confession here. I feel like if the Hawk versus Red Hawk happens at any point, right now, I feel like Red Hawk is going to wipe the floor with Hawk.
Who knows? I'm just excited for this image. And apparently, you know, obviously, if you guys have checked out online, this trailer has leaked, or this scene has leaked. I'm not the whole trailer, I wouldn't say, but it is quite impressive because it really does. Seeing this in motion, you can tell it's Harrison Ford who did the CGI, the mocap for this, and I'm very excited as well. Joe, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I have never. I'm going to just straight up say it. I've never read any Red Hulk content. Sorry, Nori Jordan. I know he was in Thunderbolts Volume 2. But yeah, I personally have never read any Red Hulk content. But man, I'm a Harrison Ford fan. So looking forward to this. I have really liked the evolution of Sam Wilson in the MCU. So very excited for that. We're getting some new characters. We're also getting some throwback to some old characters. I'm really curious as to what's going on with Isaiah Bradley, and obviously we want to see Harrison Ford, you know, in this new role. Well, this old role replacing, you know, an actor who passed away, and who better to do justice to the character than Harrison Ford.
I agree wholeheartedly. I think it's going to be quite an experience for all of us in February when this comes out. Very excited. Another thing that's causing a little bit of a rise in people. What doesn't these days, right? But this next news piece, take it away, Josh.
Yeah, so there's not much talk about it because some people just probably don't care for it, but I do, and I'm looking forward to it. Ironheart dropped their first ever trailer at D23, and it will be releasing sometime in 2025. They didn't give a month yet. I would probably imagine maybe like, you know, middle of the year towards the end, but I'm excited for this, and you know, I like seeing Ironheart show up in Black Panther 2. I like the character. I think moving forward, you know, it'd be nice to see her. And from what I get from the trailer, it looks darker. It's not going to be, not necessarily like a Daredevil dark show, but probably a PG-13 show, but it's going to have some darker elements to it and be more of an adult theme show than it is for like a kid's show.
I'm sorry. I meant the next news piece. This one really isn't. I guess it is divisive considering it's a leading woman in a show.
Honestly, I think it's divisive because I was going to say I'm not excited for this. Josh said he was excited for this. I'm going to be honest. This character did not hit with me in Black Panther 2. And, you know, this is not a character that hit with me in the comics either. I don't really know why they chose this character because I don't know a lot of people that are, you know, a fan of Ironheart. And yeah, to give her own show, you know, that's a risk. So hey, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it pans out. but her first appearance in Black Panther really did not do it for me.
I think it fell flat as well, but I do like the character. I really like the character, and it's also infusing a younger element into the MCU. A new Iron Man type. Granted, we have Rhodey as as War Machine, but this is another one that's in the comics, obviously heavily influenced by Tony Stark. So it'll be interesting to see. But I'm really upset that I haven't seen anything about this online. Josh, you're gonna have to send some stuff to me. I didn't see any footage or the trailer.
I'll send you the link to it. But it's not just her show. I don't want to spoil anything, but there's gonna be some big characters that have not appeared at all in Marvel yet that will be making an appearance in the show.
The villain I heard. I don't know if it's a spoiler, and if you're going to be showing this off on your YouTube show, but
it's a rumor. It's a rumor right now.
Well, actually, it's confirmation that there's a person who's portraying the Red Hood.
I mean, listen, I know it's confirmation, but we're going to treat it as a rumor because every time I predict something to come to pass, it happens, and then you guys say it's not going to happen. So,
yeah, you didn't call. Joe and I called that RDJ thing as Doom. It was Joe and I. And you're sitting here trying to take credit for it. Moving on. This is what I was talking about. Go ahead, Joe.
1 second. You guys move on to the next one. My phone just told me that I, for those of you who can't tell, I'm on my phone today because I left my laptop at my friend's house, so I'm an idiot. That being said, my phone just said 10% battery, and I got to go get my charger. So you guys talk about this story. You can put me backstage.
I have no problem doing that. Josh, moving on.
So moving on, we got some Fantastic Four news last week. Well, guess what? We got even a little bit more news, and we got the first official look at the costumes. And this is how Johnny Storm is going to be looking in the new movie. Some people are not really liking the costume. They think it just looks real homemade-ish. I'm going to say I like it because A, it's a 1960s story. It looks very 1960s. And B, it kind of reminds me of the animated Fantastic Four show costumes that they had.
Here's the deal with this. Like, I don't have a problem with this at all because there's no context behind that. Like, that could be their first prototype suit or whatever. Or another thing to think about, that could be the suit, but it looks completely different on camera. People need to stop overreacting when they first see these things because we don't know how things are playing out, right? We don't know if this will be the actual suit for all four characters. So everybody needs to chill, take this in. I'm just happy to see a production still. I think this is actually an interview of them on set. But I'm just happy to see it's in production and moving along is the way I see things. So let's bring Dan De La Torre in, get his thoughts on Johnny Storm's look. Go for it, Dan.
Too soon to tell. I could go either way with this particular suit here. What matters is in the end, do they nail this movie? A lot is writing on this particular movie. They have to get this right. I mean, they just proved with the Deadpool movie, they nailed it. They just did. So when they put their minds to it, they can put together an absolute winner. So that's the bottom line here. Do I have a problem with it? No. Is it something I'd wear? Maybe. It's okay. But again, I'm old school. Again, being the oldest person here, I see things differently than you guys. I want substance. I want to see, are they on the right track with this sort of thing? So those are the things I'll be looking for. But we're going to be getting a bunch of little itsy bitsy spoilers for now until the movie comes out.
For sure. But again, I think this will be, I mean, it's not, the bar is very low, but I'm confident that this will be the best Fantastic Four film of all time.
But to backtrack, though, I'm agreeing with Joe completely. I wasn't a big fan of the Ironheart character. I don't think they did it much justice. I think they're trying to rush younger characters in to the younger audience. Again, you want substance. You want you want resonance with your characters. I wasn't very impressed with the character in the comics or on the big screen. I'm still saying that James Rhodes is by far the logical choice to take over the Iron Man role. Why? He's an older character. He knows the Stark Industries left and right. He knows the technology. So you go back to Iron Man 170, the first full appearance of James Rhodes taking that taking on that role. I've been specking on that for a long time. It hasn't come true, but I'm thinking if the MCU gets us, if they start looking at this logically, that's where they're going to wind up, not Ironheart.
Well, they haven't mentioned anything about the War Machine. Now it was a series, now a movie, so hopefully that's still in play. Josh,
but there's no Iron Man. That's the thing. There's no Iron Man right now.
There is no Iron Man.
There needs to be an Iron Man. And remember, keep in mind, James Rhodes was in the Secret Wars as Iron Man. It wasn't Tony Stark back in the '84 when Jim Shooter put that forward. So keep that in mind. So
that'll be very interesting. Joseph, your thoughts on the Johnny Storm suit?
Yeah, I don't get what the dislike is. I think it looks good. I think it looks periodic of the time, and I'm just really excited about this because we've seen Joseph Quinn just absolutely win the hearts of everyone in Stranger Things, and I think he is the perfect casting for Johnny Storm here.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's going to be a great movie. I'm very excited for it. We can't harp on this for much longer. Dan, your honorable judge, we will be bringing you back later in the show.
Before we go, let's shout out our sponsor who's in the chat, EGS Comics. He is having a appreciation month, so check out EGS.com. He's got all the details. You can save a bunch of money. I plan on taking full advantage of this appreciation month. So again, check out EGSComics.com.
And just a little, we're going to have him he's going to make literally a cameo next week. Tony, just want to put that out there. So if you have any questions about what this customer appreciation is all about, check out the show on the 18th, a week from today. All right, moving on. The next thing we have going on here, Josh, is your rumor report, right? And Joe and I still don't have that jingle, but we got the video. So, Joe, let's off the cuff, right? Josh's rumor report.
Josh's rumor report. Josh's rumor report.
Josh's rumor report.
Josh's rumor report.
That was amazing. So, yeah, we don't have the jingle just yet. But as you know, this is all rumor. This is not anything concrete set in stone. Josh has the red phone by him. He's our Adam Schefter of Comic Book Canon. And he gets the scoop before anybody else does. So with that said, Josh will be launching a kind of a show on his channel with all these rumors and kind of spoilery videos. But Josh, you have two things for us today that are not super spoilery, kind of direction that things are going to go in from what you've heard.
So we're going to start off again, just to clarify, straight rumors, not guaranteed to happen, but I have a pretty good track record. So keep that in mind. So it looks like Avengers Doomsday will show the formation of the Battle World, and projects that are released between Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars will be set in the Battle World created by Dr. Doom. That would make a lot of sense to me, considering that Secret Wars, and if you're really going after the 2000s version of Secret Wars, we'll probably end up seeing that come to play. And Battle World is pretty much all of the multiverses pretty much going together into one. And this is where we're going to see all the variants coming together. You're going to see potentially maybe some future recasts happening and stuff like that.
This is quite interesting to see something like that with Battle World. Obviously, that's what Secret Wars is all about. I think you did say, too, that because you had this on here, that everything in between Doomsday and Secret Wars will be in this Battle World. Is that what you said?
Yeah, so it seems like that's the rumor, that every film, there's going to be, a year? There's 2 years apart, because I believe Secret Wars is coming out. Yeah, so Secret Wars is coming out in 2027. So there's going to be we know now there's going to be 2 shows and 3 movies a year. So that means there's going to be 6 movies and 4 TV shows or Marvel projects that are going to, in those 2 year spans, all going to be set into Battle World. So I mean, I'm all for it, man. And it makes sense because after Secret Wars ends, we know they're going to do a soft reboot, as you will, I'm sure, to the MCU. We're going to probably end up saying goodbye to some of the older characters, but you might see that variant pop up with a younger actor.
It's true,
or they might go forward and, have some of the OGs stay in if they want to continue filming. We'll have to see. Because a lot of the actors right now, I mean, you got the young ones. You got Tom playing Spider-Man. You got Miss Marvel, Captain Marvel. But when you're talking about Thor, I would love to see Captain America Sam Wilson stay around, but I just don't know how long Anthony Mackie wants to continue on. Winter Soldier, we'll have to see. Maybe he'll get recast, or, who knows, maybe kill him off, unfortunately. I'm sure they're going to maybe take some of the characters out. So a lot of interesting things to think about in the next couple of years coming forward.
For sure, there's a lot that they need to figure out in terms of, and I'm sure they always are future forward in everything that they do. This is how the universe started with Iron Man. They were they had goals. They wanted to get to Avengers. They did very successfully, probably more success than they even realized that they would garner. And then they moved on and continued to get that ball rolling. Things have dropped off a little bit because I think that they took risks. I think they decided, hey, let's try some different things here. Some of them succeeded, some of them didn't. That was what phase 4 people are really upset about. Now, moving into this phase 5, we're going to see kind of a regrounding of things. With Daredevil or Deadpool and Wolverine, it doesn't really count, in my opinion, considering how it's all through the TVA and different time streams and stuff like that. So it's really going to come down to, I mean, you got Agatha coming out that's next, and then it's Captain America. Captain America is going to be you're going to really kind of see how things are going to kind of move in what direction, because there are some major players in that film. Joe.
Yes. I think that the whole kind of culmination of the multiverse saga here that we're, going to be getting, I think they really just kind of didn't really have a great plan to begin with. I think they relied too much on just Kang being this, big bad that people were going to like. And in reality, like, Kang's been around for a long time, been in the comics, but he certainly isn't as well known as Thanos,
or Doom.
Or Doom. So I think that given that they were, able to kind of kick that to the side, given the legal issues with Jonathan Majors, I think they went a really good route and went with, kind of the quintessential Marvel villain, at least like general villain. I think like Green Goblin and Doc Ock stand out, but they're more like Peter Parker villains. They're more Spider-Man villains, whereas Doom is everyone's villain. He's shown up across the board, fought everyone and everything. So I think that this gives them a really good opportunity to have a Thanos level big bad like Doom that already has, mainstream recognition, and really just take off with it.
Why is Joe cosplaying Thanos tonight? Mike's had a few zingers tonight. I have to give him props on that.
That's my
anyways. So let us know what you think in the comments about the direction Marvel will be taking. I'm personally excited. I think Joe is as well, and Josh believes too. And please like and subscribe if you haven't already. 25 million of you are watching this evening. We are going to get through the news as we have one more news piece. Then we're going to get to our guest, Thomás Wortley, aka Dr. Yawn, who's been waiting patiently to tell us about this new project. Kickstarter's below, but let's talk about it first. So stick around. And Joshua, the final piece of your rumor report. What do we got?
So look, we know Robert Downey Jr. is coming back. We know he's playing Dr. Doom. Well, you really can't have a Dr. Doom without having a Tony Stark around in the MCU. And we know there's variants out there. And just like we heard about Doctor Strange, Madness into Multiverse, they were originally trying to get Tom Cruise to come in as a variant of Tony. Didn't work out. Well, that might be different. It looks like they are still working on trying to get Tony getting Tom into the MCU as Tony. And I think it would work perfect. I'm sure he's going to require a lot of money. But if they can pull it off, the perfect scenario already exists. Wanda killed most of the team in Doctor Strange 2. So why not have Tony, a superior Iron Man, come back looking for revenge, maybe going after Wanda. So he ends up somehow in the 616 universe and realizes there's more at stake and ends up helping Avengers fight off Dr. Doom.
There's many ways they can go with that. And again, people are freaking out. How are they going to have Tony Stark become Iron Man? And who's to say he's not Victor Von Doom? You know what I mean? Like, I'm just tired of this. So maybe because they're saying the Fantastic Four is in a separate universe. They're saying it's a period piece. Why can't they have a Tony Stark just like that in that period as well?
They already confirmed that Robert Downey Jr. will be in a end credit scene at the end of Fantastic Four.
Oh.
It was announced the day after D23. He's going to be the Doctor Doom of that universe.
Okay, all right.
Now the rumor is that Doctor Doom that RDG played killed the Tony Stark of that world. We'll have to see if that ends up being true, but
right. Well,
everybody's saying that it's Iron Man being a Doom variant. It's not. Robert Downey Jr. is Doctor Doom. He's Victor
there we go.
Downey.
That's it. So let's see how this all plays out instead of everybody freaking out like they normally do. Joe, your thoughts before we move on from the news?
Yeah, I mean, Josh really covered it here. You know, and obviously this is also just still a situation that, like, even if it's, you know, quote unquote confirmed, there are things that have been red herrings and you know, false information that was relayed in order to you know, get people off the scent of, you know, what was really happening. So wait and see. You know, Josh loves the spoilers. I don't dive on the internet looking for things. I like to go see it in the movie for the first time. I don't need to know everything that's going to happen before it happens.
You do like speculating, though, in terms of like thinking out how this is going to play out. I enjoy that as well. I don't like the spoilers, but we like discussing, hey, it could be this, it could be that. I don't see, and I'm not saying we are the, you know, the epitome of what a fan should be, but you and I are not freaking out, not losing sleep over this. So again, you know, you didn't text me, oh my God, that Johnny Storm costume is terrible. My life is over. No, you didn't do that. So anyways. But yeah, right there. Well, how about we end it right there? That right there ends the news and Josh's rumor report. The Adam Schefter of the canon does it again. Well done, Josh. Everybody, big standing ovation. Please follow Josh's Comics 01. Link is down below. He will be getting those spoiler reports soon. Am I right? On your own channel.
I'm working on it. I'm a little behind on everything.
Josh, we pay you a lot of money, dude.
Not.
We do pay him a lot of money, right? Is that? I'm pretty sure that's. Anyways, we'll talk about that offline.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. Joe, what do we do here? I mean, we got a lot of people in the chat. 22 million people. Do we say hello or do we bring our guest on? What do we do?
Yeah, let's just put the reminder out there that we will be doing Ask Joe. We'll probably keep it pretty short today because we do have short. Well, but feel free to put Ask Joe questions. I think there's one in there already that we have starred. And stay tuned as well for Tom coming on all the way from Argentina. I think he was our first international guest, and he's going to be our second international guest as well. So
I do believe. I do.
Cool stuff. But yeah, let's say hello to these fine people, and before we get into that,
fine people, including Tony, aka EGS Comics. We got more to talk about with Tony. He'll be on next week, and we are also going to be revealing that August book of the month. You definitely want to stay tuned for that. We got Kaboom Comics in the chat. Spud Comics, aka Alexia George, in the chat. We got Caleb Leland, Pope of Chilitown as well, aka Mike. Dr. Frankenstein, who is that?
That would be Victor von Frankenstein.
No, that's your wife.
You're right.
But here's the deal. We got 3 doctors here because Dr. Plagueis brings up a good point. Is there only room for 1 doctor on the canon? And there's 3 now, and he has a knife emoji. I don't know what's going on there, but the other doctors should be worried. Who else do we have? We got Chicago Schulte that was here, had to roll, but saying hello from Chicago. Obviously, we got the Judge Dan De La Torre in the house. We got Gedrin Y, who hopes the Beyonder makes an appearance at some point. People are saying, what's his name? Is it what's the guy's name in Deadpool? Mustache, Paul, or whatever. They're saying
Peter.
Huh?
Peter.
Yeah, Peter's the Beyonder, as people are saying that. We got Hip Hops and me, former. We got a comic book canon alumnus, Dr. Guion, talking about some Beastie Boys. We'll talk to him in a hot second here. We have Phil Ailing saying hello. Who else do we have? We have Bond. Paul Bond. That didn't work out very well there. But he thinks Ryan Reynolds and his team should write all Marvel films. I mean, it's not a bad idea. Raw Dog Comics not liking that Johnny Storm image there. Who else do we have? We have a lot of people. Frost Behemoth in the house, dancing in the stacks. That was in reference to you, your dance. It was wonderful. Nukes Comics in the house. Who else? Lots of people, lots of chatting going on. I love this. This community is outstanding, and we applaud you all. As you know, Josh's Comics is here. Spider Dude, another sponsor of Fresh from the Comic Shop, along with EGS. Spider Dude is responsible for that image or that book as well for August and all the previous months too. I think that's about it. Who else? Let me just make sure we didn't miss anybody. Did we miss any? Brookboy Comics. We are going to be learning more about Brookboy Comics in a hot second as well, right before we talk to Dr. Guion. And Joe, I think that's it. So, with that being said, before we get to Dr. Guion, we have the latest popcorn. Please get to know Brookboy Comics.
That last comic call really got me broke again. Hey, comic book canon. My name is Noah from Brookboy Comics. I am from East Lyme, Connecticut in good old New England. And the first comic book I ever owned would have been Brave and the Bold #1 from the 2007 third series. That opened me up to the wide world of DC, and I think that's why I'm a big Batman and DC collector today. One of the passions I have that's not comic books would be a love for music. I do have a small vinyl collection, as well as I do dabble in some guitar. But the main reason why I love music is the way all the different genres and artists make you feel and the messages behind all of their songs or albums that they put out. And I want to say a special thank you to Spud Comics for nominating me last week. And for next week's nomination, I want to put up D&T Comics and Collectibles, Danny and Tessa. I see them a lot online, and I am a supporter of them. And I just want to support the small guys out there, and I want to see them more from them as well. So I'll see you guys next week. Thank you, everyone in the comic book community. I absolutely love this hobby and the community that surrounds it. So it's the best one I've ever been a part of. So thank you guys, and have a good rest of your night.
All right, that was great. Getting to know Noah there, aka Brookboy Comics. But next up is Danny and Tessa. You are on the clock. Get us your video this week. We'll get in touch with you through the Instagrams, I do believe. All right, moving on. Joe, we have a phenomenal guest. I met him through you. Very knowledgeable, actually very funny too, to
Absolutely.
be fair. And extremely talented as a writer. Joe, please, the introductions.
Yeah, so my friendship with Tom is the perfect example of just the power of this comic book community, because I'm here in the Philadelphia area, United States. Tom's all the way down in Argentina, and we connected over comics, and now we chat on a regular basis. He hops into my claim sales and grabs stuff every once in a while. Someday we will be hanging out at New York Comic Con or Baltimore Comic Con, whenever he makes it up here. But either way, it just shows the power of this community and how we can, get to know people, not just all over the country, but also all over the world. So let's bring him in now. Tom.
Hello,
Hey, guys.
Thank you for joining us. How's it going?
Thank you.
How you doing?
I'm great. I just wanted to clarify one thing for Dr. Plagueis. I'm not a real doctor. I'm a script doctor, which is like a lazy kind of doctor. So it's a little bit of false advertising, but that's what my handle means. So I really don't want him to kill me. So
So you're removing yourself from the doctor conversation.
Yeah.
Like, to be fair, what you do is it takes a lot of talent, a lot of work. However, what you're trying to tell everybody is you do not have a PhD.
I don't. No.
Okay. So don't kill him, Plagueis, please. Now, Shelby, Joe's wife. I'm sure Joe doesn't want you killing his wife. Am I correct with that?
I don't want anyone to kill anyone, please.
Yeah. So doctor, chill out. Dr. Plagueis, just chill out, please. Speaking of wives, She's giving me the look. If she can walk down here. Everybody want to say hi to Alicia?
Yeah, bring her out.
This is Tomas's time. This is Tom's time. It's he's the guest. You're not on camera.
Okay.
It's okay. You're okay.
You sure?
I'm positive.
I can share the spotlight. I have no issue with that.
Oh, she's on camera now. Woo! Well, you just walked up to camera. I said you weren't on camera there.
Oh, shoot.
That's how cameras work. You walk in
She
front
was
of
sitting
them.
on the steps. Am I on camera? No. Then she walks straight up to camera. Anyway, I love you. Anyways, how adorable is that?
No, I said you said-
Adorable. Adorable.
Oh, there's
Now,
a cat.
Jeff, can we get back to Tom, please?
Yeah, it's about Tom right now, though.
Yeah, Alicia
have
hasn't
Tom?
written any comic books, so
Tom, yeah, he's a comic book writer. He's right there. He's writing Bloodshot, issue 3, Black, White, and Bloodshot. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
If you walk close. Anyways, all right. Get out of here. Anyways, I'm sorry. We have an interview to do. Joe, please, let's start this interview.
yeah. So, Tom, I want to know first and foremost, you're writing Bloodshot. Comes from the wonderful world of Valiant Comics, something that was massive in the '90s. Putting out tons of books. They were really mass printed, so you could find them pretty easily, and they're pretty cheap now. And one of the things that I've always heard about these books, and I gotta admit for myself that I have never read any Valiant comics, but I've heard, especially from Mike Pope at Chillytown, who was buying these books at the time because he was working at an LCS when they were coming out. He said the stories are great. Just wondering, like back then when these books were coming out, were they something that interested you? Were you reading these back then, or is this something you got into later?
Yeah, well, basically, in the 90s, I was very active buying new issues. It was a good moment for here in Argentina for to get issues from the US because of the exchange rate we had at the moment. So I was getting a bunch of issues from independent comics in the 90s. I got tired like very quickly of the 90s mainstream. I was reading a lot of 80s comics at the time. I was buying back some stuff. I was born in 1980, so I didn't get like a lot of the comics. I was very into Vertigo comics in the 90s. I was very into 90s indie comics. So yeah, I picked up a bunch of Valiant issues at the moment. I remember Harringer, I remember Bloodshot, and there was stuff. A lot of stuff didn't age very well, I have to say, but there was I picked up some issues again from the reboot they did. Like I think it was 2012, and they like relaunched the universe, and that was pretty cool. I remember I got some stuff there, and it's not my main focus of my collection, but they were always in my radar when I was a teenager collecting comics.
So I have a follow-up question. I love the Valiant universe when they first came about, and then I guess I got out of collecting before they got bought out and kind of fizzled out once they got bought by what is it, Acclaim or a video game company. Then I was super psyched to hear that they were relaunching again in 2012, as you said, and we've had Dinesh on here as a guest before, one of the people responsible for bringing it back, but again, bought out by a corporation. And I haven't enjoyed it as much. And this is me being a little bit critical. You liking those issues back in the day, how does it feel to be able to put your stamp on this truly amazing character? I do love Bloodshot. How does it feel for you who read it as a kid? Here you are now helping to bring it out more into the open, prominent to people who are not as familiar with the character.
Well, to me, this was a dream come true. It's not really easy for a writer, especially when your first language is not English. So Argentina, for if someone doesn't know, is a Spanish-speaking country. So I did some writing tests for publishers in the US, and I had published a couple of stuff before, but it's really hard for us to get into the industry. For artists, it's a little bit easier because you just require the talent for drawing great pictures. For writers, it's a bit difficult because it's not only about talent; it's about how well you can translate your stories to the zeitgeist of the US, and also to write good dialogue in English. It's not easy if you don't train. But luckily, I've been employed by a big corporation, let's say that, for the last almost 20 years, and working for the Latin American industry by them. I just came back from Brazil because I'm going to do a show there next. So
nice.
I'm quite happy about that. But getting to write like a property, like an IP, existing IP. I worked on my original books, but getting to work with an existing character, I think it's great. That's exclusive for you guys.
I forgot to say it was exclusive, and I just threw it
Yeah,
up there. But
yeah. No worry, no
introduce it
worry.
if you can.
No,
I'm
no, no, no.
sorry.
But that's exclusive. You can show it. It's exclusive to show. But this is the first page of my story on issue 3. That's coming up, and no one has seen this. So
You should have hyped it up a little bit more. I forgot that it was exclusive. However, you
Don't
do have
worry.
this one panel that you love, and I think it's hilarious as well. So you want me to bring that up right now too?
Yeah, sure. It's the next panel.
This is hilarious. The way you use D's because this guy's name is or his nose is broken was pretty funny. I'm not sure if you could read it on screen, but it's he dope my ducking does. I love it, by the way. So in terms of your English writing skills, I don't see any problems.
Yeah, honestly, that was actually going to be one of my questions, was given that English isn't your native language, your first language, how did that affect this process? But you answered the question for us already. You've had some experience, and your English is obviously good, definitely a lot better than my Spanish.
I've never heard you speak Spanish, so I don't know.
Yeah, that I can say hello, how are you, and count to 10, and name some foods like tacos. Yeah, that's about it.
Mi amigo, hablo español solamente un poquito.
This guy.
Yeah, sorry.
That's good.
Thank you.
That's very good.
So again, I think we should get into the Kickstarter, that this is also a Kickstarter, even though it's under the Valiant label.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit more about that? Because we do have the link down below for black, white, and Bloodshot down below. It looks like, by the way, the art looks incredible. Loving these covers too. I brought them up very quickly, but these are the first issue covers right here. Hoping you can share your issue with us at some point soon. But this one right here is just dope. I love this. It's epitome of Bloodshot right there.
Yeah.
That's, I think, that's a variant that I don't know if that's cover A or maybe it's one of the variants, but you can get that one in comic book shops. The first one you show is the Kickstarter exclusive, and that was done by the Japanese artist Shintaro Kago, and he's great. I love that cover.
It's really incredible looking. I love it too. Sorry, Joe, I don't want to derail your interview because this is your interview.
No, you're good. You're good. That cover is very cool. It's reminiscent of what's that Da Vinci piece called? Renaissance Man? Is that something like that? Very cool. Anyway,
yeah, that's the if I'm not mistaken, that's the Vitruvian Man you're speaking about.
Vitruvian Man.
That's Da Vinci.
Man, thanks. Tom, one question I think that would be really good, because like I said, I did not grow up reading Valiant. It was before my time, and Like I said, I've never read any. Where do you recommend as a good jumping on point? Maybe, a great storyline that introduces characters, or just something that you really like that could get people into that universe, because it is a shared universe. There's characters that have plenty of crossover. Do you have a certain jumping on point that you think is best?
Yeah, the 2012 relaunch started with issue ones, and basically they had like great stories from the start. But I think one of my favorite runs, and I don't know really how much you need to know about the character, because I knew the character previously, so I'm. It's Jeff Lemire
Okay.
did a run of Bloodshot. That's great. I love how he writes, and he's one of my favorite modern writers, um, and also artists. But his art is more divisive. Maybe I love it, but I know people that doesn't really vibe with it. Um, but his writing is great, and he did like a full run of Bloodshot. And then there's a couple of miniseries that you don't really need a lot of knowledge to get into. I particularly like the first two Doctor Mirage miniseries. Doctor Mirage is a character I really liked. I liked it in the 90s, and they rehauled it completely for the relaunch, and I really like the first two miniseries. And you don't really need anything else to know about the character.
So it's funny you mentioned that, because I was looking up my favorite run to put a link down below, and you said it. It's the Jeff Lemire one. It's Bloodshot Reborn. I put the link down here. I love that. Yeah. Like I read Bloodshot before that, but that kind of just wiped everything clean, and it was just so good. And it really is a great starting point to get to know who Bloodshot is. So 100%, that's a good call. Dr. Guillaume, not a doctor though. By the way, we did find out Shelby is not a doctor either. So Dr. Plagueis, it's all you. You don't have to kill anybody. It's wonderful. Joseph, next question. What do you got?
Yeah, actually, I was just going to pop into the chat because Kaboom Comics had a question. We've seen some of Kaboom's artwork that he has done.
Incredible artwork.
Yeah, awesome stuff. Sketch covers that he has done for members of the community and stuff like that. So he's got the question. He's got some original
That's his art right there. Really good.
Yeah. So Kaboom Comics is some original comics characters that he's created, and he needs, a writer. What is, how do you recommend him going about finding a writer for his content? Is there a, good place to reach out to people that are looking, to be paired up with an artist?
Depending on what you're looking for, there's a lot of platforms for actually, I know the other way around better. I have a lot of artist friends here that get contacted they get contacted like writing for there are writers in the US that want artists that maybe are a little bit cheaper. So in Argentina you can pay them, and that's something that's not as expensive. I really don't know because I don't get contacted for like writing assignments except for like publishers. But I really don't know if there's a place that you like get freelance work as a writer, but I can find out. I can, you can DM me on Instagram, and I can find out. And if nothing pans out, I can surely give you some pointers on how to work the story myself.
Yeah. Again, work the community, Kaboom. Work the community. That's what all these people are here for. And Tom is part of this community, and he will absolutely get back to you on that. Very excited about this project. You already have at least one person who's pledged. I'm going to pledge as well, and I'm excited for your specific issue. Joe, I'm not sure if you have any questions left, because
I do.
Dr. Guion does have other responsibilities for the show. We just have to clarify that. I just want to
Of course. Yeah, he's got to pick a winner for Fresh from the Comic Shop. But I do
He's
have
got 2 weeks of submissions. So
we're gonna have to get into it. Then I will keep this to one more question, and I will make it quick. If you could write, given that you are a writer, you are a doctor of the script. If you could write for any character, any form of media, it could be comics, film, animation, live action show, and any character across Marvel, DC, indie, anything, what would you write? For example, Spider-Man movie, a Spider-Man animated movie, whatever it may be. What would you do?
Well, I adore comics. Writing comics is basically my hobby because I have like a real it's not really a real job. It's a weird job, but I write TV shows for a living. So since the acquisition of Lucasfilms, I have a Star Wars show to pitch in my back pocket since that day. If ever needs, I can have the presentation ready in like 2 days if they ever call me. Because I think I have like a neat idea to bring Disney and Star Wars together. But I'm not going to say anything else. But I do have that in my back pocket. But it's really hard. I would love to do writing like for comics. I would love to work for DC or Marvel at some point, and I do like the weirder characters. So I don't like necessarily want to do like ongoing series. That's not really my my speed. I prefer like miniseries. So I always fantasize about those characters I like, and I like the Impossible Man for Marvel. So, but something not I've read every issue I think that the Impossible Man has appeared in, but something that a lot of people doesn't know is that the Impossible Man has a family, has a wife that's the Impossible Woman, and has a daughter that's called the Impossible Girl. I would absolutely write an Impossible Girl miniseries at some point for Marvel, and I have a bunch of ideas for DC as well.
All right, we're just putting that out there because, again, I was going to say this, but Dr. Plagueis beat me to it. That strong possibility there's one of the millions watching that do work for Lucasfilm or DC. I mean, we have 18 million people on right now, and word gets out easily. So you're guaranteed that job at this point. You know what I mean?
Just don't mess up your universe.
Just don't mess up the presentation, and you're in because you're part of the canon crew. So I have no doubt about that. But this is awesome. Again, I just want to sincerely apologize for blowing this exclusive because we need to hype up these exclusives because people sometimes are scared to bring exclusives because we have millions of people watching. But right there is the first time you're seeing this. This is the first page. Am I right, Tom?
That's the first page of the story, yeah.
Of your issue. So loving that. Again, I can't wait to pick that up and have it in my hands. Everybody, please. If you can pledge on Kickstarter to get maybe that exclusive issue too. What is it? Cover A as well. Or the Kickstarter exclusive. That's a beautiful looking cover right there. So Tom, it's not all about you in the show, believe it or not. We have the community to talk about it also. And we're going to get into a quick segment. We have 2 questions, Joe. We have 2 questions to do in the segment that we call Ask Joe. And Jeff. That's right. It is Ask Joe and Jeff and Tom. But Tom, you did get a question actually. So we're just going to get right into it super quick. I love this question by Caleb, aka Cable. Which ice cream flavor is the most superior and why is it chocolate peanut butter?
Cookie dough.
Tom.
I really like a flavor we have here in Argentina called three chocolates. There's three kinds of chocolates. I mean, I do love a lot of things about the U.S., but we have better ice cream here. I'm sorry to say.
Oh,
Wow.
you know what? I'm not.
I know,
I'm
shots
actually-
fired, but we do have better ice cream.
I'm intrigued. You know, it's funny. We haven't kicked you off, but I'm not going to kick you off for a comment like that.
Yeah, they
Somebody's-
got that you know that company down there? It's Benito's and Geraldo's.
No.
What?
Can I say my pick, please?
Neither you got the joke?
No, it was that bad.
Benito and Geraldo, Ben and Jerry.
Oh,
Ben and Jerry.
hilarious.
Okay.
I tried my best.
That was really bad.
That
I'm
was
gonna
my
go.
best,
Look,
too.
I like both of your guys' take here. I even like chocolate peanut butter. I love cookie dough. I'm gonna tell you a quick cookie dough. We have no time, but yes, in college, I took out the Ben and Jerry's cookie dough. I spit out the dough, put it on a plate, and tried to microwave it to make cookies out of it. It didn't work. But the superior flavor is mint chocolate chip with the green ice cream. So
I do like
again,
mint
it's like
chocolate.
there's not really a wrong answer here at all. And I won't fight you over the two that you said, as well as Caleb yours, but I think the correct answer is mint chocolate chip.
I like mint chocolate chip,
I love it.
but
I love it.
it's usually not my first choice. If
Okay,
it's
that's-
between mint chocolate chip, vanilla, and chocolate, I'm probably gonna pick mint chocolate chip. Sometimes I'll go vanilla, but over like cookie
The th-
dough.
The three chocolates, Tom, you're going to have to send a picture and like tag us on there as well as Caleb. I'm intrigued. Does it have like three different colors of chocolate?
No. It has like melted natural chocolate in it, and it has brownie as well. So pieces of brownie. So yeah, that's my favorite right now. I can maybe change it tomorrow, but
No. Send a
right
picture,
now
please.
that's in my heart.
Send a picture. Okay, moving on. We have one from Tony asking Joe a question. What are the top 5 blue chip keys that you do not own that you want to acquire in the future?
I always say this because I have my realistic ones and I have my unrealistic ones. You know, my realistic one, and it's honestly my number one book that I'd like to own, and that is Amazing Fantasy 15. First appearance of Spider-Man, and it's a book that there are plenty of. It's not that high, you know. You get a low-grade complete copy for a lower 5-figure number. It's not going to be cheap by any means, but you know, it's in the realm of what could be possible. Whereas, you know, the rest of my other 4 are real tough, and that would be Detective Comics 27, First Appearance of Batman. Probably never owned that one. Batman #1, first Batman solo, first Joker, first Catwoman. Detective Comics 38, first appearance of Robin, the original Dick Grayson. Detective Comics, what is it? I'm blanking on the number here. I think it's 58, the first appearance of 58 is Penguin. Whatever the first appearance of Two-Face is, I'm blanking on the number right now. And that brings us up to 4. I guess the other one would be Chamber of Chills 19, which that's another attainable one. It's another book that is a lower 5-figure number, but not out of the realm of what would be, you know, maybe possible someday.
Okay, Tom, do you have any that are like, I guess I've expressed I don't really work with the Grail system, but you yourself, what do you got?
TMNT 1, first printing. That's my ultimate goal. I would love to have that in a high grade. It's very expensive, but as I said, I like weird characters. So FF11, first Impossible Man, I mentioned that, and for really old comics and also expensive ones. I mean, this is not crazy expensive, but I would love Exciting Comics 9 from 1941. I would love to get my hands on a high grade of that. That's the first appearance of the Black Terror.
Is that Schomburg cover?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I think Alex Schomburg did a lot of exciting and a lot of Black Terror stuff. But yeah, that's a good one for sure.
Those are like of course, like X-Men 1 and stuff like that. I'd love to get that. And yeah, sure, Detective 27, of course. Who doesn't want that?
Yeah, I'm just gonna. I mean, Spider-Man's life. Stan Lee, my guy. I'm going Amazing Fantasy 15. So that's all I got right there. We're gonna go one more question real quick. And Tom, I'm not sure if you're really kind of a speculator kind of person, but anything you could answer this in any way you want. Not really collecting, but things that you look forward to in the future from any of these in any media, whether it be comic books, whether it be film, television, or video games. But our good friend and editor of the news on the Canon asked Joe, CBC, and Jeff as well, and Tom, what are your 2 DC and 2 Marvel characters you are specking on for the future?
Yeah, I like this question. So, as far as Marvel goes, I'm gonna go with 1 hero and 1 villain, since there was a question. The question was 2 of each, so I'm gonna go hero and villain for Marvel first. Hero, Jubilee. I grew up with X-Men the animated series. Love the character. Thought that she was very cool, very relatable. In the fact that similar to Peter Parker, I've said this before on the show, he's relatable. He's got normal teen problems, as does Jubilee. So yeah, I really hope we get a really solid live action version of her. And that's a character that whenever I get her first appearance, I keep it. I have dozens of copies of her first appearance. I don't even know how many. Villain, man, I have been big for recently, especially recently, since there's been hints over the last couple of years on the Prowler. I think really cool character, especially what they did with the kind of revamping him for the Miles universe and making him related to Miles. And yeah, we've gotten hints and drops along the way of Donald Glover, actually taking on the role in a larger sense than the brief little cameos that he's had so far. So I'm hoping that comes to fruition at some point. We really see a live action Donald Glover as the Prowler. Going to the DC side, I really like Spectre. I'm always trying to branch away from my Batman focus, which is, up until recently, like the only DC character that I really liked was, Batman and the Bat Family.
And a bit obsessive, to say.
Yeah. But yeah, Spectre, just such a cool character design. Great stories from what I've read so far. And I haven't really read that much Spectre stuff, but, every once in a while picking up a book and, checking out the story, just so cool. And as far as villain on that side, I'm gonna go with I'm actually gonna go with this is kind of a basic one, but I think he just does such a good job all the time. And I really hope we see him in Matt Reeves. And this is, I think it's rumored at this point, but I'm hoping we see some Scarecrow. I think he's just such a cool, any character with like some sort of psychological element to their, powers or their MO. That really does it for me. And he's kind of like the hallmark of that. So I'm gonna go with Scarecrow, one of my all-time favorites.
All right, that's fair. Tom.
Well, it's weird. We're living in a weird timeline, right? Because in another moment, I would say Doom Patrol. Doom Patrol is my absolute favorite team, and so I would say that. But we had like a Doom Patrol show. It's very good. So and I would say jokingly in another timeline, Creature Commandos, because I'm a Creature Commando fan, but we have like a Creature Commando show. So I don't know. I'm famously not a speculator. I am the guy that instead of buying Something's Killing the Children, bought Grumpy Cat #1. So yeah, I'm don't trust anything I say. But with James Gunn, I think you can have like Animal Man, characters like
Oh, that'd
that
be good. Yeah.
showing up. And Animal Man, it's a character that has had a lot of story, a lot of history. It's from the '60s, I think 1965, something like that. It's his first appearance, and I would love to go to see Deadman sometime.
Yeah.
So those are my two like DC picks probably. Because even in the weird timeline, don't think we're gonna get a Buena Beast show or a Buena Beast movie. I would love to see that. I have one of the best graded first appearances of Buena Beast. I own that already, so I'm good. But I don't think we're gonna see that. And from the Marvel side, something X-Men, I think it's coming. I'm gonna say maybe Mr. Sinister. I don't think that's far away. So that would be something interesting to see, and maybe some character like Bishop or some of the New Mutants that we haven't seen already. I would love to see Warlock. I don't think we're gonna see Warlock. Not Adam Warlock. I mean,
We're
Warlock
talking
from
Warlock. Yeah.
we're talking Warlock. Yeah, just Warlock. So I would love to see those. I don't think we're gonna see Warlock, but I'm pretty sure we're gonna get a Mr. Sinister
Yeah.
sooner than later.
You know,
Yeah.
you know what's crazy is like for me, I don't need anything from Marvel. Everything's icing on the cake. I've gotten everybody I've wanted. Maybe I do want to see a revamped, maybe Norman Osborn. However, I'm so angry at you, Tom. So angry because you said Dead Man, and I want a Dead Man. I want to see Dead Man. And I also it's worth it to be looking into all the Green Lanterns at this point. I'm so psyched for what's coming our way with Green Lanterns and the way they're explaining the series almost as like a galaxy spanning True Detective. So very excited about that. So those are the two that I would say. Marvel, I feel like we are so like blessed to be living in a day and age like this. Because do you remember like early '90s? It's like you're sitting on the edge of your seat for news for anything, anything. Like things like Adolph Lundgren Punisher. Oh my God, we got to get that. So yeah, for sure. That's a great question though, Josh. And right there, I think we need to shut it down. Josh, I think you had some final closing words of some sort.
Josh, I'm not Josh.
Joe, I said.
No, you said Josh.
I did. Joe.
I didn't have any closing words, so you can roll that theme music.
What theme music? Are you talking about the theme music for
Ask Joe and Jeff?
All right, that was outstanding segment, as it always is. Ask Joe and Jeff
And Jeff.
Again, very appreciative of all the questions. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Again, Kickstarter down below for Thomas's. I see the not the tilde, but I always have to accent the Tomas.
That's correct. That's the right word.
Okay. I just Tomas. And I make sure to spell it that way because it's not cool not to. But Kickstarter's down below for Bloodshot, Tom's project coming up. When does issue 3 drop?
I believe I think it's August. No, it's sorry, November. It's November.
I was about to say, wow.
Issue 3 comes in November. Yeah.
Okay, great. I'm very excited about that. So please click the link, pledge if you can. And we are going to move on to our final segment of the night, where it's going to require a lot of people, a lot of you fine people, including the Honorable Judge De La Torre. But Tom has responsibilities too. We haven't had a guest on in a while, and Tom is going to be picking 2 people to move on to the semifinals. I know, man. It's not that many that were submitted last week because I think my flood happened earlier and people were like, hold up, I'm not submitting until next week then. So I think that happens a lot. But the segment, Joe, is called
I'm pretty sure the last time I heard, and it was kind of through the grapevine kind of thing.
Mhm.
Someone's telling me that I was down by the corner store picking up my my scratchers, and someone kind of leaned over and they were like, "Hey, I think it's called Fresh from the Comic Shop."
That's right, it is. It's called Fresh from the Comic Shop. We're also Fly from the Pressing Salon. That's right. We ask each one of you to send in a fresh get every week, and you do not disappoint. Your fresh gets could be 2 days old. They could be 30 years old. As long as they're fresh in your collection that week, we want to see them on the Instagram. Make sure to hashtag FFTCS. Also, tag us in the picture. We had somebody breaking the rules tonight, and we almost didn't get that one in. But tag us in the picture because hashtags are trash these days. With that said, you can win wonderful prizes each and every month, courtesy of EGS Comics and Spider Dude Comics as well. There are wonderful partners. You guys better be following them because we'll withhold your prize if you win and you are not following them. I promise you that. EGS Comics, they are very unique in the slabbing industry here because you get optional custom labels. That's right. You can get custom labels that match your book. You'll see what we're talking about in a moment. Free grader's notes and fast turnaround times. Please use the code 5% Canon5 to get 5% off. But it's going to be more this month because they're doing customer appreciation. We'll have more about that. Check out Tony's channel, EGS Grading. Down below is the link on YouTube, or just come by next week and you'll see what you can get. Also, Spider Dude Comics links down below. One of the premier comic book experiences online. Check it out. So when we were talking about EGS labels, I mean, look at the July book of the month, right? I know Tom likes that. Like, get out of here. That is just ridiculous right there. So we had finals, and it was Spuds Comics versus Nori Jordan for the finals. And it was a battle. It was a battle. However, Nori Jordan comes out on top. Pokemon comes close, but Nori Jordan came out on top with Taskmaster, the Avengers issue. First appearance of Taskmaster. So, congratulations to you, Nori Jordan. Right now, we are going to show off our August book of the month. Y'all ready for this? Boom. Look at this beautiful Daredevil number 8 Alex Ross variant with Elektra on the cover. That is just gorgeous. 9.8. As you can see, these colors do match the cover as well. So Tony does it again. Spider Dude Comics does it again. I'm excited to see who's going to take that home this month. Very excited, everybody. Also, if you're interested in Fresh from the Comic Shop gear or even Comic Book Canon gear, link is down below for CNGO. All right. Just a recap of who's won so far this year, because we do a book of the year during the NCAA tournament in March, which will be January to December, obviously. So what do we have for our Fresh from the Comic Shop winners? We have Mike Haggs, who won. We have Dr. Plagueis, who won in February. Lons Comics, the March winner. Nukes Comics won in April. We have Kaboom Comics winning in May. We have Super Crispy Comics winning in June with Kaboom Comics cover. It's gorgeous. And as we just said, July, you have Nori Jordan. All right, let's get into it, gentlemen. Are you ready for the last week's submissions? Tom, how do you feel? You look cool.
Sorry,
I asked how you feel, but you look cool, calm, and collected.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, you're just chill. You're good. Okay, that's where we need you to be as the person who judges this. So we will bring the judge in a hot second to make sure that this transaction is legal in every sense of the word. Let's start it off right now with Nukes Comics. Here we go, Nukes Comics. Fresh from the comic shop, Daredevil #2. Matt has been entrusted with the care of a small child, but who else is interested in this baby? Will Daredevil succumb to outside influences attempting to manipulate him, or can the Black Widow intervene before it's too late? Found some cool Easter eggs inside. This is the B cover featuring cover art by J. Scott Campbell. Interior artwork by the illustrious Joe Quesada. Good stuff indeed. That is a great cover. I really do like that cover. Well done there, Nukes. You are not eligible, though. Next up, we have Raising Elm, who is eligible, by the way. Highway to Hell by AC/DC was playing during this, so well done. Howdy, comic fam. Back in June, I was telling Nori Jordan about this new series called Falling in Love on the Path to Hell. The stunning cover art caught my eye, maybe because it had a Star Wars vibe to it. At least that's what Nori and I deduced. Anyways, this series is an amazing read that will have you wishing there was more pages in each issue. It's like a spaghetti western mixed with elements of The Walking Dead. I just picked up the second issue last week or so. The creators even encouraging fans to write messages to write at GaryDuggan.com so they can share them in the upcoming issues. Naturally, I wrote them a message. Maybe it will be in an issue someday. Much love, comic fam. How creative Justin is, by the way, I have no doubt that people will be like, you know what, this is an interesting letter. Let's publish it. That is well done there. And we have Dr. Plagueis up next, who is not eligible. Dr. Plagueis picked up this awesome Marvel Legends Danny Ketch Ghost Rider this week, and you already knew what the plan was next. The Ghost Rider of my childhood got me thinking back to when comics and figures were my whole life, and how 20 plus years later, not much has changed, except 10-year-old me would have thrown down a little hairspray on that baseboard with a cup of water nearby for safety purposes and lit that shit for an awesome flaming photo op. We would like to see that actually. So that is really well done. I would like to actually, Tom, bring you now in for your first fresh get. I know you have something accompanying a fresh get, and I'll wait for your cue.
Yeah, because I know you like stories with your comics. So
You do.
I get a little. I wrote a little story. This is several comics actually, but I only got 2 of these this week. That's Too Much Coffee Man issue 9, and you can see collect all 7 issues. That's because issues 6 and 7 do not exist of this collection for some reason. So issue 9 and issue 10, which complete my original 10 issue, that's actually 8 issue run of the original Too Much Coffee Man comic. And I, in honor of Bloodshot and the Kickstarter, I decided to bring only 90s comics today. So I got this.
And hold on. Let's just show one off at a time.
Yeah, sure. But this is issue 1.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm saying one submission, one.
No. This is the.
Oh, my bad. I'm sorry. What am I doing?
I was talking about this. This is the first submission for today. Just completing the collection was great with these 2 issues.
That is, by the way, it's crazy that they a 10-issue run, but they just never published 2 of those issues.
Yeah, that's the kind of weird things that happens in indie 90s comics. Basically.
That's amazing.
I have issue number 1, and I love coffee, so I'm keeping that one for myself.
Sure. By the way, okay, so I do have to say we have one more submission for the past week, and I'm going to get into it right now, real quick. I love what you got there, what you picked up. We have Nori Jordan here. The week I continued the exhausting search for the remaining Thunderbolts newsstands, needed to complete my run. I tried to find them in a while, but my patience has worn thin. Luckily, I picked up Thunderbolts Volume 2, number 1, CGC 9.4 newsstand to add my modest collection, he says. Any newsstand from this series is hard to find, and the print run on this book could be as low as 900. I love the search for Thunderbolts books, but I'll be glad when my mission is over. Take care, everyone. All right. So here's the deal. We lost Joe. Oh, I think he's back.
Okay. So, do you want to know the story? I sent you something before the story of the Too Much Coffee Man.
Yeah,
stuff.
absolutely. I'm sorry. And I'm sorry if I skipped over that. And I have it.
No. That's the thing. Before I started writing, actually, I wanted to be an artist. I wanted to draw comics, and that ended fairly quickly. But in 1996, I think it was, I was 16 years old. There was a Too Much Coffee Man contest. You had to send like a Too Much Coffee Man page, and I sent you the image, and that's the page I drew when I was 16. Then I lettered it in MS Paint because I didn't know how else you could letter a comic book page. And that's the last comic book page I drew in my life,
Why?
basically.
It's good though.
Yeah, why is that your
I
last
don't know.
you've ever done?
This is the last one I've ever done.
Why was it your last one? We're saying.
I don't know. I send it. I sent it in through mail in '96, and I don't know if I wrote the address wrong or something like that, and it was returned to me like months later, unopened, undelivered, and that really frustrated me, and I kept drawing, but I never attempted to draw comics again.
Okay, well, it sets you on a path, obviously, and a successful path as a writer. However, it's never too late. It is never too late.
Yeah.
And I apologize.
Maybe I'll take it back.
I apologize for going too quickly through things. I know it's getting late.
No problem. I just wanted to show that because it's fun. Getting this remind me of that. So
this is amazing, by the way. And Joe and I are urging you to actually draw another comic page for us for the canon, maybe about Joe and I.
Sure.
I
can do that.
That would be awesome, actually.
It's two little hair men.
Or Joe and Jeff with hair, maybe. I don't know.
No. Too Much Coffee Man, but it's two little hair men. Like
I'm not that little. I mean, I'm
no. I'm not saying little. Like
I can do eggs. I can draw eggs.
Listen, let's table this talk.
I'm done making jokes. All my jokes are falling flat tonight. I quit.
Yeah, you're terrible. So guys, we got a problem. Those were all of the submissions for last week. Nobody was eligible because the only person that would have been eligible was Raising Elm, and he is a semifinalist. So with that said, I think we need to take two from this week's group.
Two winners, sure.
So keep that in mind. Well, let's bring the judge in. Is the judge ready? Can you agree to that, Judge? Is that fair?
First of all, I have to explain why I'm not in my judge's robes. I was on the golf course, which is what doctors and lawyers do. Okay. Plus, my wife is pissed off. My wife is very pissed off at me because the room is a horrible mess. I've been trying to rearrange, not very well. So I'm trying to make it up to her by taking her out to dinner after the show is over. So anyway, here I am.
Do you want Joe, Tom, and myself to talk to her?
Anything would help.
Okay,
bring
her in.
Or Alicia, it's probably a better choice to have her talk to my wife. You know, woman to woman. You know, that would soften them up. Because if you guys talk, I'll still hear about it afterwards.
All right, I'll send you her phone number. You'll get them in touch then.
Anything would help. Anything would help.
You got it.
Okay. Now back to the matter at hand. So we have no eligible contestants this week. Is this correct?
From that previous week, no, we do not.
Okay.
So what we're proposing is that we take all of this week's submissions and take two from there.
That's perfectly fine with me.
Okay.
Legal, legit. I still have my gavel, by the way, so that's good. Oh, he's frozen. Oh, there you go. Okay. Gavel is here. So, hey, this has the power of Mjolnir. Don't underestimate the power of this gavel. So here I am making a ruling. It's now legal and legit.
Yeah. And there we have it. We'll bring it back at the end. All right, here we go. Let's move. Keep it moving, everybody. Keep it moving. We got a bedtime approaching us. What is next? So we did Dr. Okay, we got Goonish Lurker here, everybody. The Goonish Lurker. I share with you all Red Room. Trigger warnings number 4. When I submitted this book, it was purely for me. I just wanted to have an Ed Piscor cover of Red Room with a custom label. I didn't get it pressed or clean, just sent it in as is. I honestly didn't even care about what grade I got back. I truly missed the episodes of cartoonist K-Fab. I would tune in every week for their Patreon live streams. Their show highlighted so many stories, artists, letters, inkers, and everything in between. Their critiques were honest and maybe harsh at times, but it came down from 2 guys who love comics and the work that goes into the craft. This is a somber one, but I do appreciate the fact there's an EGS slab right there. So, you know, Goonish Lurker's always sending kind of like outside the box submissions, and I absolutely appreciate that. So good work there, Goonish. Moving on, we got Mark Leneker. Haven't seen Mark Leneker in a while, but it's good to see him as well. Detective Comics 475 is if something fishy is going on in Gotham, you can bet the Joker's behind it. Classic cover and story. Steve Englehart and Marshall Rogers had a great run writing and drawing Detective Comics. That is a classic cover right there. Joseph, your first fresh get of the week. By the way, I have no fresh gets, just letting you all know.
None? Oh, gosh.
None.
So my 3 are actually all acquired today at Philadelphia Comic-Con.
Go for it.
The only person that I bought from was Mr. Paul Bond. He had a great deal. He had bought a collection. He actually bought the inventory of another dealer recently. And he basically got stuff at such a good price that what he was going to do is he just kept that dealer's prices on the books and did 50% off whatever those prices were. So I got some really, really good deals today. Starting off with this one. Again, 50% off the price, and you can see the price is $3 on this book. And this is Daredevil 159. This is the second Frank Miller on Daredevil. Second time.
Wow.
He was just doing the art at this point. From 158 to 167, he did just the artwork, and then at 168 all the way through 191, he took over as both the writer and the artist. And the really cool thing about this is the first time we see Bullseye, shout out to Nori Jordan, without his costume on. So that is Bullseye right there. No costume. And if you watch the Netflix Daredevil show, I would say that the casting of the character looks pretty accurate to this one here.
Yeah, that's a great pickup right there, especially for $3.
No, $1.50 because it's 50% off.
Right, I forgot to do the math, but no, seriously, that's a good pickup. One of these days, I'm going to have some pickups, I promise you. But moving on, we have Spud's Comics. That's right, Alexia. I love this submission right here. Where is it? Gather around, boys and girls. It's time for a time warp. Let's do the time warp. Is that how it goes?
That close enough.
Close enough. Anyways, my homie went to a con over the weekend, and she picked these up for me. I damn near lost my mind. As a spooky queer kid, seeing RHPS, which is Rocky Horror Picture Show, was such a huge change in my life. I went to one of those interactive shows, and it brought me so out of my comfort zone, and it was one of the most memorable nights of my life, not to mention my icon, Tim Curry. Please enjoy these beautiful books. I'm so lucky to have in my collection. Now, I've already submitted, but I had to share these with the Comic Book Canon crew. We love this. Well, I love this submission right here. That's very notable to me. I just want to make that known. She did also have 3 other pictures of each book. So well done right there. Moving on.
Is she eligible for the prize?
How much she paid? She is in the channel.
No. Is she eligible?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, she's eligible. Yes. She lost in the finals. She has not won a finals. So Spud is eligible for sure. Moving on, we got Nori Jordan's, again, not eligible, but this cover is awesome, man. I have a lot of favorite Bullseye covers, but this week's 1 in 10 ratio is possibly the best I've ever seen. This cover by Gabriel Delato is a masterpiece that truly demonstrates the rivalry between Bullseye and Daredevil. There's a Virgin 1 in 100 cover I will hopefully get soon. All hail Bullseye. Take care, everyone. Cover's ridiculous on this issue. Absolutely
As
insane.
soon as this book came up on the screen, I just instantly knew Delato. He has such a style.
Absolutely.
Him and Alex Ross, both of them with the really realistic style, just so stands out so well.
It does. And this, I remember flipping around, I guess, Instagram recently and just seeing this and stopping this. It wasn't even Nori Jordan's post. It was like, holy cow, that cover is just outstanding. Tom, what do you got for your second fresh get of the week?
For my second, I said I was going to keep these 90s, so I'm going to keep these 90s.
Oh, yeah.
I was in a comic shop, and I found this. This is the first cameo of Impulse. This
nice.
is Flash 91. It has the DC Universe logo, and I said, if there's one, there has to be other DC Universe logos here. And lo and behold, I found Flash 92, first appearance of Impulse with the DC Universe logo. And it is, this has never been read. I mean, this is it's in great condition. And this is a beautiful find. And I always wanted one of those DC Universe logo keys, and I could never find one in the wild, and now I did. Actually, two.
Congratulations on that. The 90s Flash is so distinctive with that costume. I don't even know how you explain it. It's just like, it's like almost like metallic. I don't know. It's slick. It's the one I kind of lean towards in my collecting when I collected Flash. I don't collect Flash.
Yeah, sure.
But
Wally West is my Flash. I read a lot of Barry Allen when I was a kid, but Wally West was my definitive Flash.
Yeah, that's for me as well. And granted, they had the Flash TV series and obviously all of the other cartoons and things like that have come out since. But Wally West was the one that left the impression on me as well. All right, moving on. We have another one from Nukes Comics, who is not eligible. Right here. Fresh from the comic shop, Amazing Spider-Man number 22. Dr. Raven is back and is seeking Spidey as a sacrifice. Spidey and MJ are sent to the apocalyptic version of New York City. Here they encounter a mysterious man named Paul. Not Bond. Paul Bond, not Paul Bond. But is he a friend or foe? Can he help them return home? I picked this up from DBS. Good stuff indeed. You have John Romita Jr. is very divisive, but I love this cover right here. It is so unique and different. So, anyways, just wanted to point that out. Joseph, your second fresh get of the week.
Yeah, sure. Another book from Paul. Every time I see this book, I think to myself, why is this not a more sought after book? This cover is just phenomenal. And Paul had this in his box. Like I said, it was half off, so I had to get it. This is Justice League of America number 61. And I love this cover so much. I might have actually brought this from a fresh from the comic shop months ago. I forget. But if I haven't, it's still a great book to show off.
Yeah, that book is awesome. I don't remember you showing that fresh from the comic shop.
Maybe I didn't. I definitely talked about this book. Maybe it was just on one of my sales streams, but it's got these like split face, like almost like Two-Face kind of thing, going with all the major Justice League heroes and one of their major villains. We've got Batman and the Penguin. We've got, I think it's Green Lantern, and I think that's the Tattooed Man.
Tattoo Man, yeah, that's Tattoo Man.
Yeah, and we've got Lex and Superman. So yeah, definitely some really cool stuff. Great Silver Age, kind of later Silver Age cover. And I just don't know why that book isn't talked about more. It just has such a cool depiction that you really don't see anywhere else.
Very cool cover, but there's somebody here who is saying that he did this last year.
Oh, okay. Maybe Josh did it last year. Then that makes
Trying
sense.
to take credit for Josh.
I think he bought the book from me, to be fair. So
very dicey, very dicey. All right, moving on. We have another one from Raising Elm who is not eligible as well. Howdy, comic fam. Here lately, I haven't added to my Strange Tales collection, but recently found some issues on eBay. I present to you Strange Tales 151, 153, 159, and 143. Where is issue 143, you ask? Well, it's unfortunately the loose pages in the background. That's the chance you take buying online. I'm not bashing the seller because I think it was an honest oversight on their part. The seller also refunded me the cost of that issue. What does bother me a bit is the way it was shipped. Bags, no backing boards, in a manila envelope. Thankfully, the others got here safely. I'm excited about the copy of 159 because it's in better condition than the one I had and only cost $30. What did y'all think of D23? Much love, comic fan. Well, we went over D23, but I this is a great picture, unfortunately, if that makes sense. Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
It does.
Yeah, that 143 is in shambles, so to speak.
But I love how Racing Elm always uses that stuff, like for the background, stuff like that. And that's a great way to put a positive spin on something that's really crappy.
No, you're for sure. And I'll tell you what, man, if you guys want to kind of finesse your submissions, just keep an eye out on Raising Elm or Mark Leneker or those types of people, because consistently phenomenal every time they deliver something to us. And I'm very happy about this, guys. We got somebody who's come back. He's been gone for a while. It is Union Josh Comics. And for some reason, I don't have, here it is. My bad. Guess who's back? Spectre's back. A sub for Fresh from the Comic Shop. Moon Knight, Black, White, and Blood, #1. Miko Cyan, Virgin variant. Who doesn't love a Moon Knight cover? And this is a real looker. Fantastic job capturing the aesthetic of the run. Grabbed this book today and just had to show it off. Let's see what y'all got. This is a great, great, great submission right there, as well as a cover. And glad to see Union Josh Comics is back. We missed you. Thanks for submitting and saying hello. Tom, your final fresh get of the week. What do you have?
My final is a graded comic. I said I was keeping 90s. This is 91, and I'm keeping it indie as well. This is a graded comic. It's a nice grade. This is Milk and Cheese, #1 from Slave Labor Graphic. Oh, there it is. It's a 9.4, and this is like this kind of stuff is what I really love for my collection. I like indie weird stuff, and in the claim sales, I always ask Joe where the weird stuff is, and this is the stuff like Slave Labor Graphics is one of my all-time favorite indie weird publishers, for Johnny, Johnny the Homicidal Maniac, and I was I was 11 when this came out, but I probably read it when I was like 14 or 15. So that's that's a great period of my life. I remember for enjoying indie weird comics, and that really stuck with me.
It's especially to get those issues back in your collection again. Especially, was that the original issue you got?
No.
Okay.
The original issues were basically destroyed by
sure.
me because of how much I read them and reread them. This is new. This is what I got. I got this I think last week, and I sent it to Joe. I sent a picture to Joe. See, look what I got. And yeah, but I have the trade paperback. And I love this weird late 80s, early 90s indie stuff, and I love like all the weird parodies for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, like Hamster Vice or Gangrene Gerbils, stuff like that. That's so my stuff. That
I love it. I love it.
so I went with Milk and Cheese, and Evan Dorkin is a great artist. So
I've never heard of it, but I'm all about it. I'm going to check that out for sure.
Yeah. It's a lot of fun.
No, absolutely. Joe, you were going to say something?
No, that's the most Tom book that I could possibly think of.
Yeah. It looked like you were about to say something looking at that book.
That's
so
about it.
For sure. All right. And we have one more submission. This isn't an eligible submission, but it's pretty cool to see. We don't see that often when people get their book of the month when they win. So this is Kaboom Comics, who has, it's hard to see, I know, but in the center right there is the Incredible Hulk issue he won from Fresh from the Comic Shop. I think Mon's Comic had the first submission and then he won, but it's just great to see. It's prominently displayed in his case right there. So great to see that for sure. Now, Tom, you have some deciding to do. You need 2 finalists right there. So you're going to tell us what sticks out for you. And we did something that we never do. We forgot to mention the criteria. So real quick, it is take a well-composed shot. You know this stuff. Have it well lit, have it relate to the book, get creative with it. It could be a unique book, something unique. And like your milk and cheese book, unique right there. Perfect example. And then 3 is tell a story, pull at our heartstrings. I think people have hit these across the box. So while you're doing that, thinking it over, Joe is going to show off his 3rd fresh get of the week. What you got?
This is another book that was in, like I said, Paul's half off boxes. I think the price, I took the sticker off. I changed the bag and board, but I think it was $10. So this costs $5. I think this is a really underrated book. I love underrated number 1s, and this is definitely one of them. This is Marvel's Spotlight number 1. Everyone thinks Spotlight, 2 is the first Werewolf by Night, 5's the big one, first Ghost Rider. But this one right here, not only is this the first issue of the Spotlight run, it's also the first appearance of Red Wolf, a character that was later revamped and appears in the Avengers. A different version of the character appears in the Avengers comics in the Bronze Age, and then also had a fairly recent run with really, really cool art. And I don't remember who it is. And I think we've talked about that run before on this show. But either way, great book. I think it's a really underrated number 1 with a first appearance in it. And for just $5, supporting my buddy Paul, why not?
There you go. That's great. I like that. Again, there have been the Jeffrey Verege covers have been phenomenal for Red Wolf. And unfortunately, he passed away. I think it was this year, right? We talked about it in the news. I know that.
Yeah, that's why we talked. I remember that came up at some point.
Yeah, but that's a great character right there. All right.
Not necessarily a bad spec book either, right? Because Red Wolf, it's a character that could appear.
For sure.
It's a diverse character that it's naturally diverse, and it has a lot of story. So it might appear in a show or a movie, something like that. So not necessarily a bad spec book either.
I completely agree with that take on it. So we would like to see your take on the Fresh from the Comic Shop and the books that stuck out for you, but you're going to have to ultimately decide on 2 finalists or 2 semifinalists.
2, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, so there are 3 books that really stand out to me. The first submission is the Spot Comics Rocky Horror submission. That was made to appeal to me like directly. I think I don't know how she knew, but Rocky Horror Picture Show is one of my all-time favorite movies. I also liked that these talk to her directly for who she is, and I also love to understand that I don't necessarily, like nobody necessarily, doesn't matter how much time they have collecting comics, knows everything. And I didn't know this existed, and I saw this post, and after that I went online and got myself a set because I learned with this post that this was a thing. I've never seen these comics in Argentina, and I never knew this existed, and to me that really stands out. The other two are Mark Lineker's Laughing Fish, because that's one of my absolute favorite Batman issues. I like how absolutely stupid the plan is, and how completely crazy it is to like get a premium for every fish stick sold just because the fish had the Joker's face. I love that idea, and I love that cover. So that also stands out to me. And the last one is Goonish Lurker's Red Room, and that's because I mean, I'm a little biased because I said before this in the chat in other episodes of the canon. Fantagraphics books are one of my absolute favorite publishers and books published, and this one also has like the beautiful case of EGS that EGS did with the color. So I really like this, and I really appreciate someone grading a random Fantagraphics book. So these are the three that really stand out to me.
Okay. Guess what though? You're gonna have to pick
two.
Yeah, I know. Should I do it now, or do you want a drum roll, or whatever you want to do?
I wish we need to get a drum roll sound effect. So
Well, first one is easy. It's Bad Comics with Rocky Horror.
boom. Spud, moving on to the semifinals. This is after being in the finals just a couple weeks ago. Congratulations, Alexia. All right. And
second one, I'm going to go with Goonish Lurker because it's Fantagraphics, and I know we're gonna get other Batman submissions. I don't know when we're gonna get another Fantagraphics graded book in the submission. So I think I need to choose this one.
Okay, well done in choosing these both. We're going to need to bring the judge in, Judge De La Torre, who is not in his court gear, but he is in his going to a restaurant gear. Your Honorable De La Torre, Tom has picked these two, Spud Comics and Goonish Lurker. Now, I present them to you with also an interesting, considering that this is all from this week, and the way we need to maybe seed this. I would like to propose something to you as well. This is an addendum. Is that the right word? I don't know. So the order these came in, like who posted first? Goonish posted first. Spud posted after Goonish. So I would propose to you that Goonish would go up against Raising Elm, and Spud will go up against whoever wins next week. So,
now, first of all, good.
No,
I was going to say,
you got to rule on everything.
No, nobody. Jeff, you didn't ask how my golf game was.
No, we don't care.
Wow. Okay, you ruined my. I was setting you up really nicely, and you ruined my great joke. So thank you. I'll be marking that
All
down.
right, take it back.
What?
Your Honor, how was your golf game today?
Don't ask. All right, let's get back to work here. So, yeah, everything you said sounds just fine, as usual. You guys are on track here. That's totally fine. I'm making the ruling right now. We'll do it just as you said. I'm not going to repeat it because I'm trying to save my marriage and take my wife out to dinner. Case dismissed. This is all done.
All right. Well done, Tom. Let's bring our news editor back in to kind of, everybody can pat each other on the back for another successful show with millions and millions of people watching. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. And again, I appreciate all of you. Tom, again, having you on and sharing your work. We truly appreciate you. Truly appreciate you for just being in the community in general, because again, you are somebody that we consume the stuff that you create, but you're also a fan yourself and just dropping in the chat, talking, being part of the community. So I truly appreciate you, and I can't wait to come down to Argentina and eat ice cream.
You're all invited.
That is fantastic. Joe, actually, I'm going to throw it to Josh for any final words.
I just want to say another great night with you guys. Great submissions tonight. Great comments in the Ask Joe. Had a lot of fun. Loving what we're doing. And I think next weekend we might do maybe a live kind of comic book canon segment.
I guess we're going to have a live kind of comic book canon segment. I'm not sure what
most
that
of
is.
us are going to be at Terrificon, so, you know.
Oh, right. I see. Maybe. Who knows? We'll see. I don't know. But I do have to say this, though, because
Maybe
we
I'll do
debuted something. I want to say this, and this is all because of you, Josh. We debuted something very special tonight.
That's so scary. That's going
to stay in the vault with this.
Малая может пойти с моей малой.
I mean, it doesn't get any better.
Hey, before we go, I got to mention Jeff here. I just tried to support Tom by subscribing or supporting him financially. I clicked on the link. Maybe it's user error on my part. It goes to entertainment.com. I've got Bloodshot Reborn. How do you? What am I missing something here? What do I do now to pledge? Where do you go?
That link should work.
No, hold on. He clicked the wrong link. He clicked Bloodshot Reborn. That's
oh, my bad.
Okay. All right. So
Tom didn't have anything to do with that other than reading it.
Okay, good. Great. I'm probably the only one who's up here.
To do with issue number 3. Okay. For all you out there,
Actually, sorry, sir. Yeah, I wrote Bloodshot Reborn. I just wanted. It's a great run.
But you really want to invest.
And my actual name is Jeff Lemire.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. You go by 2 different names.
Yeah.
Again, everybody, we appreciate you, the audience. You, the community, are the engine that runs Comic Book Canon, as well as all the other comic book content creators. So we appreciate you greatly. The one question I do have real quick, Dan, where are you going to dinner tonight?
Hut Monk here in Sonoma.
Sounds fantastic.
My wife's choice.
I hope you enjoy. Everybody, we will be back next week, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Pacific. Until then, please be good to yourself and be good to others. Yee-hoo.